Hello, everybody. Welcome into this episode of Unwritten. My name is Colin McGuire for the Journal. Of course, I am here with my co-host. I'm not here with my co-host. She's somewhere else, but that would be Jess Wilt. How are you, Jess?
I'm good, Colin. How are you?
Oh, man, just amazing. So amazing. So we have royalty again, the second straight week in a row. We have royalty on our hands. Would you like to introduce our guest, Jess?
We have Caroline Cook, who was named, oh my goodness, about a month ago, Miss Berkeley County Youth Fair for this year. I guess this was an odd year because we didn't have a queen last year. She was able to do 2 terms. So Caroline's the first queen we've had in a while in Berkeley County.
What's it like to be a queen?
You get recognized a lot. We started back to school at Martinsburg, because that's where I go to school at. And I've gotten recognized by several different teachers, several different students. It's a little weird, but you get used to it.
Now, last week we had Leah on for Miss Jefferson County Fair, and she's kind of in pageants for a while, but you'd never done pageants really leading up to this. So can you tell us what inspired you to be in Miss Berkeley County Youth Fair?
Really, the thing it boils down to is when I was little, I still do live at the fair. My dad's the FFA advisor for Martinsburg, so I've always been around the fair. And if the queen even looked at me or spoke a word to me or waved at me, I would always be like, oh my goodness, she actually looked at me. And really just to see that on little kids' faces was just, it's the youth fair. It's all about the youth.
So yeah, I'd read that in your story. You kind of, in the story I think Jess wrote, you said being the queen is almost like being at Disneyland.
Yeah, I feel like if I was ever to be accepted as a princess role in Disneyland, that this is what it would feel like.
Now you also said too that you said, quote, a dream come true. So can you tell us why it was such a dream? Is this something you have slept over for nights on end and stressed about, and this was all you wanted? Or was this something when you got up there, you kind of played it cool?
It was one of those things where I did do a lot of reading. I did a lot of research, how to answer pageant interview questions and all this stuff. I took it probably way too seriously for a little county fair pageant, but pageants have always been something that kind of intrigued me, but I never really wanted to do it when I was little because it just seemed like a lot of stress to put on someone at such a young age. But I feel like being 16 and being able to make that decision, it definitely helped move me towards, I was just talking about, I was like, doing this made me want to do more pageants. Like, I feel like I want to do a little bit more stuff within the community and stuff like that after this.
You and your court had such a fun week at the fair. How amazing was it to kind of surround yourself with these wonderful young ladies? Because you've talked about what quality young women they are before.
They definitely, I feel so honored to have had so many amazing young women in my court, and that are still in my court, because I've said it before and I'll say it time and time and again until my reign is over. I cannot do anything without those ladies.
Now, we asked this to Leah last week, and I'm curious to hear your answer. Of all the competitions or the things you have to go through while competing, which one was the hardest for you? What was the hardest moment?
Being able to compose myself and not let the stress and fear and anxiety get to me.
So it didn't get to you at all?
I definitely had my moments. I'm not going to sit here and say that I didn't, but I definitely just tried to remember, take deep breaths. It's not the end of the world if you don't get it, or if you do get it, it's not the end of the world. Just to kind of be like, it's fine. You're capable of doing this, and you just have to, trust in yourself and your gut that you're gonna be fine.
I watched you kind of running around all week being being someone who had projects at the fair, doing your roles as Miss Berkeley County Youth Fair, did it give you a new perspective to the fair itself? Because so many little kids were looking to you for guidance in the competition.
Yeah, it definitely gave me a different perspective of how challenging it can be. I really thought Queen was just there to like sit and hand out ribbons. I mean, I'm ashamed that I thought that way, but that's just about all that I thought I was. I like to compare it to if you've ever been at a family reunion and your grandmother's there and it's like, scooching closer, I just need one more picture. I had to stand there and take pictures for hours on end every single day. And everyone's like, well, all you did was take pictures. I was like, but in that moment, that grandmom is sitting there saying, scooch in, just one more picture. You're like, I just want this to be over and stuff like that. So I was like, it definitely gave me a new perspective of how demanding this role can be.
You said before that this might open the door for you to want to do other pageants. Do you have your eye on anything?
I have my eye on a couple things. Dairy Queen, or well, not Dairy Queen.
Wait, Dairy Queen? Like a blizzard?
No, it's actually called the Dairy Princess. I messed that up.
Oh.
It's another one that has to deal with a lot of agriculture and stuff. I want to be more towards the agricultural side of pageants, if that's even a thing. Maybe not so much like mainstream, like toddlers and tiaras, but definitely a lot of like local stuff.
You participated in, I think, every competition that I was taking photos of. I saw you cheering on the little kids. Did you have a favorite aspect of your role as Queen?
I feel like one thing that was really, really special for me was the kiddie tractor pull. I was sitting up there and some people are in the stands, maybe a parent or two that's watching their kid, but it's not like a big event. So me being able to sit there and like cheer these kids on and like scream at them and be like, come on, you're doing great, push harder. That was definitely one of like, I guess, one of the highlights of that whole time. And just being with the kids and being able to be a role model, because it definitely kept me from doing some stuff that I'm like, is this something that's gonna reflect good if a little kid is sitting there watching me? Like, I don't want to be even thought to be doing anything that's less of, respectful, nice, just really being a good role model. So it really did let me step back and be like, is the image you're putting off what you want to be put off of you? Because I had a lot of eyes on me, that being little kids and being higher ups. So that was definitely one thing that I kind of had to like, step back and be like, just take a second, is this really what you want to do?
You have had the luxury now of we're a month removed, I think, since the fair, correct? Was that at the beginning of August?
Yep.
So when we spoke to Leah, she had just won, essentially. She had won the weekend before.
Yeah.
So it was pretty fresh for her, and she was pumped and she was happy, and she still had the glow of being a new queen. You have a month now to kind of have a little more perspective on it. When you look back, has your opinion changed since you were initially anointed between then and now?
It's definitely sank in a lot more. Like, it's definitely, like, you did that. But I mean, really, there is a difference between, that very first time where it's like you're week after being queen and you're just kind of trying to like catch up on everything and take a deep breath, and you still have that queen, like you said, that new queen glow to you. Definitely, since a month has passed, it's definitely been more of like I always like to say, like, when my teachers, they'll be like, are you good at public speaking, for like get to know you stuff? I'll be like, well, I did do this thing at the fair and I had to do public speaking for it. It's not something that I like to parade around, if that makes sense. Everyone always congratulates me and like, but I just don't like to parade around and be like, this is me, this is all this other stuff, because I do enjoy being a normal teenager. It's really, really nice to be like queen at the fair, but being able just to walk around the halls at school with my AirPods in, just listening to music, that's something that's really, really nice about being, a little like a month out from all the craziness.
You mentioned the possibility of more agricultural side contests in the future. I know farm life is very important to you. What makes Berkeley County Youth Fair special to you from kind of FFA 4-H perspective?
It definitely is very special to me because I feel like we have a lot of agricultural opportunities that some fairs don't get. Like I went to the Jefferson County Fair for the first time this past weekend, and I was like, their entire parking lot is as big as our handicap spot, but that's their entire parking lot. So I can definitely see how there's a lot more opportunities there, such as, cow chip bingo, showing different things, whether that be different indoor projects or different outdoor projects. But I do have to say the one thing Jefferson Fair did have is they have bull showing, I think, for sheep. And I'm like, I'm a little jealous that we don't have that here.
You just said something that I actually had written down because I don't know what this is and I want to know. What is cow chip bingo?
You didn't grow up at a country school, did you, Colin?
No, the irony, I did. I came from a very small town and a very small school, yeah, but we didn't have that. We didn't have cow chip bingo. So please explain to me what this is.
Well, I'm gonna ask you a question. What do you think it is before I answer this?
Well, it kind of sounds disgusting.
Accurate.
Accurate.
Okay. So I mean, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Go ahead.
If anyone has been to the Berkeley County Youth Fair, you know the indoor arena. We basically set up a gigantic, it's pretty much a bingo board without BINGO at the top. So it's just random numbers thrown around on top of a tarp. And so you pay however much to get a ticket, and your number goes into the number list that's on the floor, and you bring a dairy cow in because dairy cows are nice. They're not mean. And whichever square the cow walks around and poops on, you get $500. At least is what we did our prize this year.
You get $500?
Yep.
Well,
for a cow pooping on your square.
What if multiple people have the same square?
That doesn't happen because all of our tickets are numbered, and we only sell a certain amount of tickets.
How many tickets?
Think it's around 150, 200, maybe.
Jess, you look like you knew, or you just rolled your eyes at me, one of the two.
No, I'm trying to think, so we did it at my high school for homecoming over in Boonesboro, but I can't remember how many squares it was.
150 to 200. And this is all predicated on one cow relieving his or herself in the middle of somewhere. Do you have people yelling? People chanting for the cow to go over here, blah, blah, blah?
Sometimes it's gotten to the point where we can't tell people whose cow we're using. Like, we have to use it from someone who's not even from our school because it is a fundraiser for the Martinsburg FFA chapter. Because people will try to give the cow chocolate and stuff like that. And we're like, we can't do that. That's not safe for the animal.
The dark underworld of cow chip bingo. This is amazing.
It's a grueling place, man.
Go ahead, Jess. Yeah.
As part of, preparation for the pageant or for the contest, forgive me, Miss Barbie, if you're listening. You do have your projects for the fair. Do you have a favorite project that you did this year or that you've done in the past?
I'm gonna stick with my tried and true. I love showing goats. I was able to do dairy, to show a dairy goat this year, and I loved it. I will definitely be doing that. But I do want to, before I age out or until I go to college or whatever the case may be, I do want to have shown every species that I can bring. every species and every like range within that species. That's just something that I've always wanted to do since I was little. It's going to be a lot of work, but I'm hoping I can do it.
Do you have many left? Do you know which ones you have left?
So I have only done goats, so that means I have pigs, cows, and sheep. I don't know about rabbit and chickens strictly because I don't own any of those. My little sister has chickens, but they're not really like, I guess, show type. But yeah, so like I guess the big livestock is what I'm more interested in.
Outside of being a queen and being the one everybody wants to be and having to sign autographs and give photos and just be, it's like when Jess walks downtown, everybody wants her picture and autograph too. So she understands what that's like. Do you have any hobbies outside of this, and maybe even outside of the livestock stuff? Because we talked a lot about that. What would we be surprised to know you're into?
It will, coming into this spring, it will be my second year doing track and field. I throw shot put and disc for Martinsburg High School.
That's fun.
So I really enjoyed doing that. I'm not very good at it, but I enjoy doing it.
Do you lift weights and all that to prepare?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to our coaches, they really push us, but you will be like, why are you making us do this in the moment where you're doing deadlifts? But when you see how much you bettered yourself from it, you're like, thank you so much for making me do that.
Has that sort of become a passion, track and field?
I think it's too early to say for sure. I've always said definitely if I get offered a scholarship for it to a school that I want to go to, I would definitely take it. I'm not expecting a scholarship. But it's one of those things where it's like, if I happen to get a scholarship, I will do it. I will continue to do it in college, but I probably won't for, what I want to go to school. It is not track and field. So
that's one question we asked too. So you do want to go to college. Do you know what you want to be when you grow up, for lack of a better word?
hopefully I want to work, this is a very broad spectrum. I want to work in a museum. Hopefully a historical art conservationist.
Wow.
So working with a lot of old paintings, a lot of old dresses and suits. I don't know, that's really just where my heart lies, is like history almost.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's not what people expect me to say, but that's the answer. It is.
Are you drawn to old things like antiques, stuff like that?
Definitely. My room, I like to say, has like a kind of vintagey feel to it. I try to keep it that way. I've really always been into, especially historical fashion. That's one place where like it has a special spot in my heart for it. Just, knowing that everyone says, well, they had to wear, the giant hoop skirts and stuff. Well, that was really a woman's way of taking up space and being pronounced in that moment to show, even though I cannot speak for myself, I am here and I am present. So that's just one of the many things that I find interesting about it.
That's really cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's just fun little facts like that, that it's like, even though throughout the years we've been told, women have had to act like this or men have had to act like this, your clothing really tells a story, and it goes back so far that it's impossible to cover it in a lifetime, which is why I like doing it, is I'm always going to be learning something new.
Would you ever want to design your own clothes?
I don't think so. Not modern clothes, that is. I just have never really been into that sort of like, modern fashion designing, stuff like that. So not really.
Right.
It's just one of those things.
I made all of the clothes up. No, I didn't. I'm kidding. I can't do that. Jess, do you have any more before we get to the fun stuff?
No. We can jump into them.
All right, you ready for this? It's not gonna be as fun as old clothes, but we have some fun questions to wrap this thing up with you.
Okay, I'm here for it.
Start with this. What is your favorite fair food, Fair Queen?
Deep fried Oreos.
Ah, that's what I said last time. Look at that. High five.
What was your favorite competition that you took part of as queen?
That's a hard one. Probably the donut and ice cream eating contest. It was just something fun and different that I had never done before.
That's what I would say too.
You had mentioned you love walking through school with your headphones in or AirPods, listening to music. What are you listening to?
A little bit of everything. I like to listen to, the Eagles and Queen and, some like older like 60s, 70s rock music, but then I can also really enjoy, like 2000s and modern country music and pop. So it's really just a little bit of everything, whatever mood I'm in that day.
What's your favorite class in school?
Right now, probably US history. I mean, could have guessed that, but.
Do you have a favorite movie?
Favorite movie? That's a hard one. There's so many good movies out there. Just about any Disney movie. I really like Disney, just for some odd reason.
The Lion King.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Fantasia. You ever watch Fantasia? Fantasia's a Disney movie, right? Yes. Yep. That's probably way before. Anyway, go ahead.
Do you have a favorite Disney princess then?
Ooh, good question.
Ooh. I would have to go with Mulan, even though she's technically not like a princess, but she's definitely strong and brave and just is everything that I aspire to be. So
she's among Disney royalty.
She's definitely Disney royalty.
Do you live in Martinsburg?
No.
No? Do you live close?
I don't even live in, I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. I don't live in Berkeley County.
How did this happen? This is a travesty. We need to report this. This is gonna be on the front page.
I live in Berkeley Springs in Morgan County. My dad is the FFA advisor at Martinsburg High School. So when I was in 9th grade, I transferred.
To Martinsburg?
Yes, to Martinsburg High School.
So I guess my question was going to be what do teenagers do in Martinsburg for fun? But you're not there, are you?
I mean, go to the Dairy Queen down the street. I mean, there. That's about it.
Jess, do you have any?
Do you have a favorite goat or sheep from the farm?
Of course she does. You got to.
Yeah. Now, okay, she doesn't live on the farm anymore because
what is going on?
She lives as a pet at my aunt's house. But we had this little goat that had gotten, we didn't think it was going to make it type of sick when it was really, really little and really, really young. But miraculously, by some miracle, she survived, but she is very tiny. So her disease stunted her growth. So we called her Little Girl. And this goat was probably 3 times as small as all the other goats that were born on the same day as her. So I loved her so much. She's so sweet. She thinks she's a human. So yeah, because she did live in the house for a period of time because she was so sick.
Don't most goats think there's something they're not?
Yeah, and they like to eat stuff that they shouldn't too.
I know that you're young, so this might not have happened yet, but have you been to a favorite concert?
Um, I have. This is another thing. I really have never been to, like a concert. Um, I
What
would
was
really
it?
like. I would really like to, but it's just something that just hasn't been in the books yet.
Okay. What's the difference between a concert and a concert and a concert?
But I think so the only, I guess, concert I've been to was when Ray Lynn played at the Berkeley County Youth Fair. Oh my gosh, my little 10-year-old heart could not handle that. But I guess like a real concert would be, you buy the tickets, you go there, you sit in the stadium, you watch them perform with like, like the TVs and stuff like that. I guess that would be like a concert.
Fair enough. Jeff, do you have one more?
Is there anyone you would want to see in concert?
I've mentioned them already on here. I really, really wanted to go see the Eagles tour that was happening in
They're
September.
in town tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow.
I was like, I can't go.
Are you going, Jess?
I wanted to, but we are not. Eric, our city editor, will be for his birthday.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, that's in DC. Well, we shouldn't say tomorrow. When this airs, it will have happened. So we'll just say that. So I'll end this by asking you this final question. If there are 3 people you could have dinner with, dead or alive, who are they?
My grandmother, my grandfather, and my uncle.
All right.
Because my grandmother is my namesake. Her name was Carolyn, and
Oh.
I'm Caroline. Unfortunately, I never got to meet her. And then my pap did know me. He got to hold me, but a couple months later he passed, and then my uncle passed a couple of years ago. So I would really like to sit down and just have a lunch with them. I feel like that would be special to be able to, be able to look at my namesake in the eyes and say hi. I won Miss Berkeley County because she did live at the fair her entire life. And saying this, a guy came up to me at the fair that, I had never seen before, as my big family has happened. And he looks at me, he said, "Your grandmother and grandfather would have been really proud of you."
Aww.
And I broke down in tears in that second. And because all I've ever wanted to hear was, that they would be proud of me. And to hear him say that, just a random stranger off the street, it was kind of like, you've made them proud. They know you, and you have made them proud.
Wow. Well, make sure you bring the deep fried Oreos to lunch.
I will.
No
I
problem.
definitely will bring deep fried Oreos.
Caroline Cook, this has been a pleasure so much. We cannot thank you enough. Jess, can you thank her enough?
No, absolutely not. I love interviewing Caroline.
Aw,
So thank you for taking the time to talk to us. Congratulations again, and good luck with everything.
thank you.
We'll
Thanks, Caroline.